What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Off Topic. Today I'm with Carlos Mojica, co-owner, co-founder of Opinionated Media. I'm Cam Theory, co-owner, co-founder of Opinionated Media. Today we're with Alec Alvarez. Super excited to get him on the podcast. We've been talking to him, networking with him. Love what he's doing, into the clean foods. Works out a lot. Also has his own podcast. Brings it all together. Underdog mentality. Went to Texas Macomb School of Business. Was denied out of high school, but worked his ass off, got in there, and he takes that into life, has a chip on his shoulder, and super excited to get to talk to him and get to know him a little bit more. So, yeah.
Thank you. Taking time out your day. It's a short trip for you, a little hop, skip, and a jump, and you're here. So I appreciate you taking time out your day. I know you mentioned that we had to reschedule it, but glad we're finally here. Just give a little backstory. Tell us about who you are, where you came from, and what you're doing now.
Oh yeah. Hey, first and foremost, I want to thank you both for having me on. Dope to get connected with y'all, and really dope seeing what y'all are building and the commitment to it, and studio's dope. So it's a pleasure to be here. So a little backstory you said into more of who I am.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, bro. It's like, where do I start? You know what I mean? Let me think. So born and raised in Dallas, Texas. I lived there till I was 19. I'm mostly Mexican, have a little Puerto Rican in me. So my great grandmother, she's Puerto Rican. So I'm blessed enough to, she's still in my life. She's still around, and we're very close. All my family's like super young, right? Like my great grandma, who I'm talking about from Puerto Rico, she's like 84. My grandma's like 62.
Wow.
Like 45. I'm 25.
Yeah, because your parents are born in early 80s?
Late 70s.
Late 70s, yeah, because both my parents are 76.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty similar. Pretty similar in age. So yeah. It's a blessing in the sense that like I said, have a good relationship with my grandmas, my bisabuela, my great grandmother. I would go to Puerto Rico with her every summer, right? So I kind of start my story there in terms of my great grandmother. She would tell me stories when I was a little kid. She didn't. They were really poor. Like they didn't even have shoes. They were walking around barefoot, and they dropped out of school early and was working and stuff. So I feel like, one of the core values to my life is humility, right? So a lot of that came from, going to Puerto Rico every summer until I was 5, 6 years old with my great grandmother, and kind of seeing those roots, and her instilling humility in me, just being a good person, keeping it genuine. And then, say all that to say, that's my heritage, Mexican and Puerto Rican, and, my fam came to the States, hard work, and really instilled that in me. Saw the sacrifice coming up, you know what I mean? So I always wanted to make something of myself, to pay that forward back to those that sacrificed for me. And then I'm the oldest of 4 siblings. So my younger brother, he's 21. He's at SMU. My little sister's at UT Arlington, going to transfer to UT next year. And then my youngest sister is 6 years old. So also, I always see myself as I got to set the example, set the standard high, for them to follow in their footsteps and hopefully be inspired and make their own path, right? So, oldest of 4 siblings. What else? Yeah, that's kind of the family stuff. So, yeah, grew up playing sports, soccer and basketball. Y'all see me, the camera can't see me because I'm sitting down, but I'm 5'6",
You're just like me.
Exactly. So short king, 5'6", grew up playing point guard on the court, on the hardwood. Grew up playing goalkeeper in soccer, despite my stature.
Yeah.
My dad's about 6 feet. My little bro is about 5'10", 5'11". My sister's my height. So, I was thinking, I'll probably be my dad's height, some shit.
Got the short end of the stick.
I got the short end of the stick, and ironically, I'm the one that played goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But despite that, always, it kind of embodied who I am in a sense, in terms of, maybe physically disadvantaged in terms of height, but, how do you make up for these natural disadvantages, right? How do you use your explosiveness, your agility, your reflexes, your athleticism, your smarts, your leadership, your communication to gain an edge and kind of make up for that. So I was able to do that on the soccer field. So because of that, sports has always been really, really close to me, dear to my heart. So, kind of was going through college and exploring career paths, and like, you know, I was like, oh, like sports entertainment, that's what I want to go into, because that's something like that's always been like a part of me. But like sidebar that's like later down the line, I guess. You know, never like in high school was I like, you know, the top, you know, percentage of students. I think if I really would have applied myself, maybe I could have gotten there. But like naturally, I just wasn't that. I was like more like in the middle of the pack. So I always wanted to go to UT, study business. Didn't get in out of high school. I was like, fuck it. You know, all my buddies are going like, you know, 4-year universities, going to join fraternities, this and that, have a good time, you know. And I was like, man, I really want to do that, but I really want to go to UT too.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the road less traveled, go to community college, just like bust my ass and, you know, try to make it happen one last time. And did that. Fucking took like, I don't remember, like 45 credit hours in like one year at community college. Yeah, I was wilding out. I did like a winter semester business calculus course. I guess that's like how investment bankers feel or some shit, like working like 90-hour day or 90-hour weeks. Like I was going hard with the calculus, but found a way to get into UT. Luckily, that changed my life. Like came to Austin, you know, had a couple friends here, like in San Marcos, in San Antonio, in Austin. So like I knew a few people. But you know, when I came down, it was tough, bro. Like, you know, I was surrounded by valedictorian, salutatorian, top 10 percenters. And I really got imposter syndrome. Like I was like, fuck, like I don't belong here. You know, like all these dudes are like, and girls are like, you know, top cream of the crop. Like I'm not that.
We, since we're from Texas and we live in Austin, like you really don't like think about it or realize it because like, oh, it's UT, it's down the road, but like it's really a prestigious school. Like it's really up there academically.
100%, bro. And like, you know, growing up, I guess because like, you know, the rhetoric or whatever, what people say about like state schools, you don't realize that like, oh yeah, it is a really good school, you know what I mean? Like you always think like, you know, the private institutions or the Ivy Leagues, whatever, but like UT is like the real deal. So when I got here, I was like, damn, bro, like I don't belong, this and that. And it was like a really tough time for me. And you know, like granted, I probably didn't have the best habits, you know what I mean? Like it was like, you know, the Fortnite era, I wanted to like play with my boys. I still wanted to fucking like go to the gym. Back then I was like really big into weightlifting specifically. Now I try to be like a little more holistically healthy.
That's how I am too. Like I used to be like, oh, I gotta be big. And now it's like, nah, let me just be fit.
100%. Yeah. So you kind of shift when you get older. Like when you're younger, you full of testosterone. You're like, I'm trying to fucking get swole, you know what I mean? Like at all costs, whatever. So now I'm a little more like holistic health, you know, like functional strength, feel good, look good, you know, everything. But back then it was just like straight weightlifting. So like, still want to play, you know, Fortnite with my boys, still want to weightlift, you know, I just moved to college. Let me have fun. And I would like, you know, not go to class sometimes and shit. So granted, I did a lot of that to myself, but I almost flunked out. Like I was like, fuck, bro, I ain't gonna make it. I don't belong here. This and that. You know, long story short, I you know, you start to find yourself. You start to do different things. One of my favorite quotes is like, exertion leads to auspiciousness. And that's essentially saying like, whenever you try, like, you know, the answers start to pop up. Like whenever you exert yourself down a certain path, you're like, oh, this is for me. This isn't for me. Whatever, right? People start to see you, connect with the right people. But it's like, you know, I went down, I was like doing like real estate finance, cranking numbers in Excel. And I was like, okay, this is cool. It's great to know, but I don't think this is like for my personality type. So my manager at the time was like, go try marketing, go try something else. Fell into an internship with ESPN on their UFC and NFL marketing teams. And from there, I was like, fuck it, this is dope. Sports world, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I grew up doing. It's had a huge impact on my life in terms of, like, was like a mischievous kid, bad kid. And it gave me that, like, discipline to, like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble. I want to, you know, be good so I could play sports, you know what I mean? And then, you know, it taught me a lot of things that I took from off the field to excel in life, in the classroom and whatever, right? So I was like, this will be dope to do that. So that's how I kind of, like, fell into this world of, like, sports and entertainment that I've followed to this day while working full time. I got my master's in sports management. It's like a MBA for sports and entertainment industry, but that's kind of like the long-winded synopsis of like, you know, kind of my background to today. So
there's while you're talking, my favorite, I guess current baseball player you can say, His name is Marcus Stroman. And his biggest thing is HDMH is an acronym, and it stands for height doesn't measure heart, because he's short like us, but he's in the MLB pitching, and like people our size don't make it to the MLB. It's very rare. So that was like his thing, is height doesn't measure heart. So his work ethic was like second to none as well. But what was it that like drove you to UT? Like, why'd you want to go there? Because you have a great school down the street in SMU, and then your sister goes there, correct?
My little bro.
Your little brother goes there. So like you could have gone there as well, but like what was it about UT? Like that's where I want to go.
Yeah, it's a good question, bro. And I like that that acronym. What did you say? It was
Height doesn't measure heart. HDMH.
HDMH. Yeah. That's kind of similar to one I had heard. I forget who used to say it. It might have been Nate Robinson, but he would say like heart over height. It might have been Isaiah Thomas too. They did my boy wrong on the Celtics, but yeah, that was wild, man. We might never see that again. 5'8", hooping like that. Yeah, man. Why was it UT? It's funny. Like I don't know if you're connected with CJ Finley, like Thrive on Life.
Yeah.
He actually asked me the same thing.
Yeah.
So for me, man, it's like not many people in my family have gone to college, but one of them was my uncle Fernando. Shout out Fernie. He studied finance, got his MBA, all this good stuff, and he was like a big mentor to me growing up. You know, truth be told, you know, growing up, I saw a lot. You know, some fucked up shit. You know, like. Some people going in and out of jail for things that like plague minority communities to this day, right? Like, you know, things around drugs, things of that nature, people, you know, abusing alcohol, stuff like that. So, like my family's like super loving, you know, gave me a great upbringing, but within all that, there was like a lot of dysfunction and fucked up shit that I saw. So like, you know, looking at Fernando, it was like, you know, he was successful. And he had a good head on his shoulders, like former Marine, you know, all this stuff. Like for a young boy, you like really look up to that. You know, he's like fit, runs his own business. He would pick me up from school. You know, he would take me to, you know, show me like all his stuff and stuff like that. You know, show me the ropes. So I was like, I want to take his advice. And he always told me like UT was a badass school. Like if you can go to UT, go to UT. It's not only going to be great for your life, but you're going to have fun. Like it's a fun city. So I didn't have like anyone helping me pay for college. So like SMU is like a private school, right? So it's expensive than a motherfucker. And my understanding of SMU was like, it was mostly like affluent Caucasian student body, right? And like I get along with fucking anybody, you know, like I was blessed to have the opportunity to go to actually a private Catholic school named Bishop Lynch in Dallas. Had a little scholarship to attend there, and my fam pitched in, and you know, they made that sacrifice for me to go there because they didn't want me to be like other people in the family, right? You know, so basically what I'm saying is like, I get along with anybody, like the people I grew up with, you know, Hispanos, like Mexicans, Hispanics of different black backgrounds, like African Americans / black of different backgrounds, and then like Caucasians, but not only different races, but like different socioeconomic statuses. Like I feel like that's a big differentiator with people. It's like it's not only race, it's like, can you get along with people that are rich, middle, poor? You know what I mean? So I feel like I really can, because I've been around people of all of it. But all that being said, so like SMU, it wasn't about necessarily like anything around race or anything like that. It was just like, it was expensive and it was private, and I wanted to get out of Dallas. I felt like for my self-development, I knew that leaving my hometown, leaving where my family was going to be crucial to growth. So I was like, I want to go to Austin. Something about Austin, bro, it always like called me. Like it was like, I came to Jambalaya, 2017. Who do we see?
I'm trying to think who it was.
Okay, so back then, Migos had just released Culture, I believe.
Yes.
They were fucking hot. It was like Migos, Gucci had
was that J. Cole, the J. Cole one, or no?
No.
That was
J. Cole
where
was
Trippie Redd was late?
No, okay, y'all thinking of the year before.
The year that was 2016?
Yeah, because I think it was Trippie Redd, J. Cole, I forget who else. This one was like a different time. It was Gucci had gotten out. It was like when like Zeke Elliott was balling out. Fucking Gucci had dropped both with Drake.
Yeah.
Cardi B had blown up.
Okay, so this was
Lil Uzi Vert had just dropped his album.
It's probably like 2016 maybe.
Yeah, so they dropped all that like end of 2016. This was in spring of 2017. So it was at Circuit of the Americas. We go to Jambalaya, you know.
Yeah, it was a Chance the Rapper, Gucci,
Migos,
Chance, Uzi,
bro.
Steve Aoki, Young Dolph, R.I.P.
Yeah.
Some nice ones,
It was a good lineup, bro. Like Uzi fucking jumped off the top of the thing at Circuit of the Americas. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say, like, you know, we pulled up to Austin, got an Airbnb, we went out to fucking, you know, Rainy Street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, kind of checked out the scene.
Yeah.
And it was exciting. I was like, oh, this is like a different vibe from Houston or Dallas. It's something totally different. And for me, I really wanted to experience that. So, you know, I could chalk it up and say like, oh, like I knew it was a badass school and I knew it'd be good for my life and this and that. It wasn't only that. Like, I wanted to have fun too. And I feel like Austin checked both those boxes.
Yeah,
for me.
no doubt.
So that's why I wanted to pull up here, and it was public institution, so you know tuition's cheaper. Could use FAFSA on it. So yeah, bro, that's what led me over here.
Yeah, I mean Austin's a dope place. I'm
for sure.
I'm an introvert, but I just know that there's a lot of things to do here, and to explore. And there's like I feel like there's just always something going on. It's like the way it is moving, it's like a slower mini Hollywood or LA, I should say.
Yeah, definitely like a lot, especially now with all the California influence and stuff. Like I was telling him, I haven't been to New York yet. I plan on going soon, but like I've been to LA a couple times, and like Austin's very similar with like the access to people now, especially like we have all these people moving here, like Joe Rogan, Musk, like then you have Texas is blowing up, and then you have like Austin FC. We have like pro sports, the F1. Now we have Moody Center, so we're actually getting acts here that we never got. Like the fact that Drake came here, Uzi last weekend, and then Travis Scott this week. It's like you would have to go back in the day. You would have to go to Dallas or Houston to go see these people.
Yeah.
So.
And bro, think about it too. Like, who was it that came a couple months ago and they only came to Moody Center? They didn't go in Dallas or Houston. I think it was the dude from One Direction.
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles.
I'm pretty sure Harry only did a week.
Yeah, he booked
a week in Austin.
and every single show was sold out.
Yeah,
bro.
The whole
crazy.
state aggregated to Austin for that week. So I think that goes, speaks a lot of volumes about Austin. It's like the energy, the vibe around Austin is like, weird, different party.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the kind of more commercialized, established, like corporate-y.
I feel like
Dallas
that's
and
why I've
Houston.
never been like. I like Houston, like just have a lot of friends there from college and stuff. But like Dallas, I have family there. But every time I go there, like I'm just like, man, like especially because a lot of the big like Deloitte's there and like a lot of the big fours are there. So because that's why I said I'm an accountant. So so like that's all that's there. But to me, it's just it's too New Yorkish. Like I feel like Dallas is the New York of the South, and like for me, I'm like I'm too like laid back for that.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I haven't been to the Big Apple either. I was actually supposed to go twice during COVID, which got wiped out. One time for the ESPN internship, then for my internship with Hulu and their ad sales team under the Walt Disney Company. But both times I didn't get to go to the Big Apple. But so while I haven't been there, like Dallas definitely has that more feeling of like, how do I describe it? Yeah, it's like just a little bit more like corporate-y, like vanilla. Vanilla is the word. But I love Dallas, bro, in terms of like, there's a lot to do. Like, I'm from there. That's why I'm biased towards it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it is very similar to Houston in both of those regards, except I feel like Houston's a little bit more with the culture, you know what I mean? Like, especially within the realm of music. But Austin's just its own thing. It's changed a lot. I mean, y'all grew up here. It has changed a lot. Some of the good things
because I've been here.
changed, right?
I was born here.
Yeah.
So for me, I've seen it since it was nothing, essentially. But the thing with Austin is, it's like you still have your corporate side of it, but it's also like it's getting to the area that you want to be in for like entrepreneurship or content stuff, like being a content creator. Even like I'm a big gamer, so like gaming, like even in gaming, there's a lot of people.
I see the shirt. I see Optic, right?
Okay, they're in Dallas now too.
Well, they moved to Frisco.
Yeah, Frisco.
Yeah, bro.
And it just because like the internet here is a big thing. Internet in today's age is a big thing. So like a lot of gamers are moving here and like big names.
No doubt.
And then like I said, being just content creator, there are a lot of them here. And it's just a place to be.
Yeah, no, that's actually why like when I moved to Dallas, right, like being in sports entertainment in that industry, I was like, oh, that's like, there's Cowboys, Mavs, like you said, Optic, Jerry just bought up FaZe, right? Like, I'm pretty sure he bought FaZe for like fucking pennies on the dollar compared to what it
I
hit
believe
the
it
public
too.
market.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I went up there and I was like, oh shit, I know a few people here within this space, but not enough to like do anything with that.
Yeah.
So I came back to Austin. I was like, okay, like, I know more people within this market, even though the market is smaller, but it feels like a better market for entrepreneurship, creatives, content. And I'll say this, bro, for podcasts, I feel like you can make an argument that Austin is the best place to be for podcasts right now. Like,
really?
I think so. Lex Friedman's here. Joe Rogan's here. The Daily Stoic is here. Ryan Holiday, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got Brass Check, his publishing company. You've got Daily Stoic, Daily Dad. All this stuff he's writing, he's building. Tons of other creators and podcasters in the space. So you got multiple like aggregations, just like studios within Austin. But I mean, just the fact that like, you know, a JRE is here is like, that's already a fucking big part of the pie. You know what I mean? So I really do think you can make the argument. Biggest. Yeah, exactly. So, and he definitely was the biggest before like the Spotify deal, which interestingly enough is like, you know, about to be up for renegotiation. I think 2025.
That was quick.
It's quick, right? It feels like just the other day, 2020
flew by.
But I think there's an argument to be had that like this is one of the best places to be in the country for that.
I think Austin's the way it is because like it hasn't lost some of its culture, as in like the keep Austin weird side of it, and that the keep Austin weird is just like, excuse me, people aren't weird. It's just like everybody's just friendly, and I feel like, and like in LA, I've never been. He's been, but. I've also had friends from there, but just like people are just snobby and just like it's fast pace. Yeah. And people to go to LA for like one thing and just like get big because it's LA. Yeah. And then I just feel like Dallas is just more of like a corporate city.
Sure.
Houston's just overpopulated.
Overpopulated.
Yeah, overpopulated. Thank you. How's it?
Yeah.
But overpopulated, and that's like the problem over there.
Yeah.
But I just feel like everybody in like Austin is just friendly and willing to like work with each other, willing to give game to each other, willing to like do collab stuff with each other. That's like the biggest difference maker. I feel like.
Yeah, and especially since like I mean, with shooting the content, like meeting people like you, like just everyone's like willing to be like, oh, you need help with something, like. Oh, I got this connection for you. I can, lend you this hand or whatever. It's not, I gotta, step on each other's toes because I gotta get to the top and I gotta like ego check or whatever. So it's definitely been for, especially I feel like the entrepreneur side, the creatives, the young people. I feel like it's great to stay here and move here now. And I also feel like for a lot of the people that, because there's so many people that, have moved here from other cities, not even like cities in Texas, like across the U.S., they just move here. But a lot of these people move here right after college because there's so much to do in Austin. I feel like it's like a big bridge city for people's lives too. People move here, gonna probably live here from like ages 22 to like 35 and probably go move somewhere else and set their roots. Like that's how I feel like it is right now, at least.
Yeah, it's a very young area, and it's like the perfect like 21 to you said 35, maybe even 40. It's like perfect. It's when you're in the prime of your life right there. So. And there's so much to do, and there's just so much experience. Why not?
No, I think y'all hit on all of it. I think like DFW, for example, so spread out, right? You got Frisco, you got Plano, you got Fort Worth, you got Arlington, you got Dallas, and then all these like suburbs around. It's like the thing about Austin is it's not super suburban. It's very centralized. Like you've got Central Austin that feels like it's got a badass, very nice developing skyline right there by the river, but it feels kind of like a town in comparison to like Houston, Dallas, all these other big cities in the country, right? Like if there weren't so much traffic on I-35, like you'd drive past that downtown pretty quickly. But
it should not be that way.
But like what I'm saying though is the opportunity to run into people doing cool shit is so much more likely because it's so centralized. Yeah, like everyone is right there.
Yeah, that's true.
And then like because it's got like a lower barrier to entry too. It's like all these things are being built out post pandemic because of the population boom. Like you could really come in and create something right now in a way that maybe you're not gonna be able to do in 10 years and you couldn't have done 10 years prior.
Yeah.
Like there's really like a lower barrier to entry and the opportunity to meet people doing cool shit. Like you and me met.
Yeah.
The way I met Matt. The way I met like people that ran Spear, like Mike Chavala, Squatch Fitness, all these Lift ATX, everything being built right now. It's like the opportunity to meet people. If you want to network, if you want to do this shit, if you want to create like this, I feel like that's what brought me back. Yeah. And I couldn't be happier that it's like kind of playing out the way it is, like doing shit like this with y'all because like you know, I looked for that in Dallas and I couldn't find it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not as easy to do it because it's so spread out.
Yeah, that's like the thing about our downtown is like, it's a downtown, but if you go to other cities, like, people were like, that show's downtown? Because our downtown is small. Like, it is a small downtown because I went to the Rangers and Astros Game 7. Whatever. Yeah, I went. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm a big Ranger fan. So
Where was 7? Was that
7 was in
H-Town?
Houston. Yeah. So I went to Houston, and then we're getting into downtown Houston. But like as soon as you get in, you like look to the right.
Yeah, it's
and they were
huge.
like, "Is that downtown?" I was like, "No, I think that's Katy." And they're like, "No, I don't think it's Katy."
Yeah.
And they're like, I was like, "I think it is." And my friend looked on the map. He was like, "No, we passed Katy." But it's like Houston has like 2 downtowns, really, because you look to the right when you come in, like. I don't know which was south, like from north, like from Katy, it looks like a downtown.
Yeah.
And then you look to the left and like that's downtown. And then you see our downtown just like small, but that gives you the access to like meet people though.
Yeah, no, I fuck with it, to be honest. Like, you know, walking down Congress, like you walking over the river, you see the fucking like Capitol over here, you see South Congress over here. Like I fuck with it.
Well, the skyline is crazy now. Like it looks crazy now especially when you drive in from 35 and you get on that top ramp, it looks crazy.
I love the hills out here too. Like Dallas is a flat plain. Like Dallas, I think is like a very slept on skyline. Like it's badass. You know, got the microphone tower. You got the fucking like we stole St. Louis's like white bridge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a badass skyline. But Dallas, I'm sorry, Austin's like with the way the fucking architecture's been done to be like kind of that clear blue, like reflecting off the fucking when the sun is like reflecting off the water is dope.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. But where were we at? How do we get down here? Like what was we talking about?
I don't even remember.
Why I came to UT, I think.
That was the original question.
Yeah,
we
we
just
kind
kind
of
of
segued into Austin.
Well, hold that thought because I do have a question for you. So, what was it that got you like? Because you were working at a real estate, punching in numbers, and then you just like quickly transitioned to like being in the sports field and sports marketing and whatnot. So, what got you? Were you still in school when you were doing that?
Yeah,
was it you were? Okay.
Yeah. So this was all through internships.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's why it was a little easier to transition because, like, you know, it was like one of those things. Like every summer, I was trying to do something. Like I think it's a good thing, you know, at certain times in your life to have like a sense of urgency to find out answers. Like, and I feel like that's one of the periods, right? It's like when you're in college, you're in a unique position in terms of like you can intern here and you can intern there, and like, oh, you can help out here, you help out there, whatever, right? I think just being like young in general, you gotta like kind of leverage that. Like people are a little more lenient and forgiving of like your questions or being naive and like, you know, giving you a shot. That kind of fades as you get older, right? Like, you know, we're all getting older now, like latter 20s, you know, it's like shit you can't ask for or do that you could have like years ago, right? Yeah. So I think, that's like something I always tell like people in college, like try to make the most opportunities and ask. So essentially was a part of this organization called MLT. They had like a networking thing. I networked with all these companies. I was feeling kind of gassed. I was like, whatever. Sitting down, chilling. This dude sitting beside me. He looked young. Whatever. We started talking about hoops. What year was this? Probably like 2019. It's like post Cavs Warriors era. Yeah. This might have been like the Kawhi versus Kawhi Raptors versus
the Warriors.
Warriors when KD towards Achilles. Yeah. So we're talking hoops, whatever. He's like, yeah, bro, I've been to the finals 5 years in a row, this and that. Damn. So I'm like, damn, motherfucker must be balling, like whatever. Come to find out, he actually works for ESPN. So he's like, hey, bro, you seem to know a lot about this and that. Slide me your resume. I'll try to connect you with a recruiter. He does that. I connected with a recruiter. Her name was Amy. We hit it off. You know, her son was a goalie. I'd be like, hey, you know, how's your son doing? How's the goalkeeping doing, this and that? And then she's like, all right, let's, you know, like, what do you want to do? At that time, I was still like finance. She's like, I can't find you anything in finance at ESPN. Thank God she couldn't find me nothing in finance. So she found me something in marketing. I thought, oh, this is dope. You know, it's cool. From there, I was like, okay, marketing is like a revenue driving thing. Let me try something else within that drives revenue. It was like sales. So ad sales was kind of like the intersection of like creative and then sales, you know what I mean? Like you're using like, you know, creative and marketing and advertising concepts within the realm of sales. Like, like Opinionated Media. When you hit pause on Hulu, like we'll put your logo in the corner.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like that type of shit. So it was cool to me, but I was like, all right, let's take it a step further.
Yeah.
At the time, it's like 2021, COVID still, like, even in Texas, COVID was still a thing, but damn sure was still a thing in like New York, LA, which was where some of these full-time opportunities with the Walt Disney Company were. And I was like, you know what, for the pay and for the living circumstances and COVID, I was like, I'm not trying to go over there. Went back to Dallas, worked B2B sales with AT&T while I got my master's in sports management. Because I was like, you don't have to take the GRE during COVID. I was like, I'm fucking terrible at tests. That's part of the reason I didn't get into UT. Fucking dog shit on the ACT. You know what I mean? Like, to be real with you, like, I got like a 17, which is not even half of like a 36, which is like all my peers at UT had like, 34, 35, 36. Yeah. So anyways, I say all that to say, anything's possible, underdog type shit, all that. I ended up like later taking it, got like a 24 or something. So it's not like horrible, but anyways, so I don't want to go to New York to work full time, working in B2B sales with AT&T, learning the art of sales, learned a lot of good things there. I hated what I was selling, telecom, phones, internet. It was a good opportunity, good learning, good money. But I was like, coming from the world of sports and doing my grad degree within sports, I was like, if I have the opportunity to do something I'm passionate about, let me pivot in there, even though it's going to be harder. I'm going to have to sacrifice some pay, whatever, right? But yeah, like my manager at the time would tell me some stuff like control what you can control. A lot of good like principles to kind of like for sales, he would tell us, but it's like good to apply across life. Come back to UT, intern with the football team in communication, see how they like run the press conferences, do all that stuff, how they kind of handle the players, media training, all that. Did that. Interned with a sports tech company, like kind of doing some research on like incubators, venture capital within the space. What else? Like just like sports entities within Texas. It was called Sports Innovation Texas. We'd also put on some events, did that. Yeah. Interned with the agency that I'm currently at. Got to see what it was like, the agency side of things, like representing a couple athletes, a couple brands, properties. And then what else? Intern with the Sports Commission. So they essentially their job is like to bring events to the city to generate economic impact. So like, Austin FC, for example, like, hey, you should come to Austin. This is why, yada, yada. And then from there, they essentially get paid out on like, people coming in from out of town, hotels, restaurants, all that. Like, F1, Circuit of the Americas, they get paid on like, how many people come in from over 100-mile radius to come into the city and spend money to boost the economy. So they did a couple things within sports entertainment since then that, kind of gave me a better idea of like what I want to do, what I don't want to do, pros and cons of even being in this industry, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, because so I was kind of the same thing as you. Like, I wanted to go to UT. I was lazy in school, so I knew I wouldn't have got in right away. And I went to ACC, but as I was in ACC, I was only there for like 2 weeks maybe, and I just dropped out. But what I was originally going for was a communications degree, specifically sports communications, because I wanted to be like on ESPN or Fox or talk about sports. And Texas is number 2 in communications in the nation. And I was like, all right, well, I'm a big UT fan, so yeah, I want to go there because I'm a big UT fan. And then I was just there, and I was like, I don't even want to like be here. I don't want to do this. Like, I just want to do what I want to do, and then not do anything else. And I don't want to learn the sciences, the math, and all that. So I ended up dropping out, and then I was very fortunate to like know what I wanted to do. Like I knew that I wanted to do that. Like that's what my passion was. Like I didn't want to do anything else. And he played college ball for football, and he was gone in Colorado. But my junior year, senior year, I knew that I wanted to like do that. And then while he was in college, before podcasting even got big, I was like, hey, like, what if we start like a sports podcast? I was like, like, I mean, we already talk about it all the time. Like when we get on the game, it's your boys. You a Mavs fan?
I am big Mavs fan.
Yeah, are they Mavs fan as well?
Who?
You like just your people you game with?
You talking about like in terms of like
when you were playing Fortnite?
Oh hell yeah!
So I mean, y'all probably get on and just talk. Just talk about the games that just happened. Like man, Luka didn't do shit tonight, or their trade for Kristoff was stupid. Like, why did we do it? Just stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that's where we were because he was in Colorado and Fortnite was big at the time.
Hell yeah.
And
Y'all knew the vibes then.
Yeah.
Just I mean, especially then because you I had a lot of free time then, even though like I was in school and like playing football was a full-time thing, but it's like I don't know. I had time like during the week. It's like you finish your homework. It's like I got a couple hours.
You're a
like,
student. You think you're busy. You're not.
Yeah.
You
It's like, I got a couple
time.
hours. Like I can get on the game and talk. You know. So it's like
And that's how it was. So I just mentioned him. I was like, what if we do a podcast or just like a sports show? He was like, yeah, I'm down. And but we also knew that we didn't want to do it till he got back and was done because this was like his freshman year. So he still had 3 more years. So we had to wait. But I mean, it was more of like a bug in his ear. Okay. And then like his end of junior year, senior year, that's when I was like, all right, when you're done, like, we're doing this. But I just found out like that's the field I just wanted to be in. Like probably because we recorded 1 episode at an old house that he used to stay at. Mm-hmm. It was on my iPhone. And we're recording. And then it was our very first thing. I don't know if we're going to put it out, but we're just like, hey, let's try it. Let's do it. We're not. And then it just went black. Like the screen went black. We lost everything. Fuck. And we were like maybe an hour and a half in. But from then I was like, yeah, like this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So when he came back, it was just full force into it. Like, this is what I want to do.
Nah, that's a beautiful thing, bro. It's like knowing what you want to do and doing it, right? Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people struggle with that. Even myself, you know, in terms of like, what do I want to do? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and then not only knowing what you want to do, but having the balls to do it. Mm-hmm. You know, like that's badass that you just cut straight to the chase and did this, and you saw the vision before it even blew up. Likewise, similarly, in the same sense as y'all, like, you know, chopping it up, you're like, why don't we just hit record? Like in like 2015, 16, like me and my buddies, like in high school, having like deep conversations. I'm like, you know, we should record this shit. And then, you know, 4 years later, it's like Spotify throwing like hundreds of millions of dollars at these podcasters, and the space blows up. And to be quite honest, it's pretty saturated at this point.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
But shit like this, I believe in though, because it's real sweat equity and it's real genuine conversation. Mm-hmm. I believe in this type of shit, 100%. Yeah.
It's oversaturated, but I look at it just like everything is oversaturated. Every field you want to go into, it is oversaturated. No one is inventing new things. There might be things that are coming more popular as time goes on, but like everything is oversaturated. It just sucked for us that if he didn't go to college, just say that, or if he came back maybe a year or 2 years earlier, like, could we have been in that position where like, oh, y'all are podcasting and one of the few people doing it early, let me go watch you, and then we just get that boom off that. But before podcasting was even popular, I wanted to do it. Yeah. And then it became popular, but he was still in school, so it's like, I mean, you see, we get comments on TikTok all the time, like, oh, just more people doing podcasts or whatever, like, oh, just another podcast or whatever.
Why do people have or why does everyone think they can do a podcast?
Yeah, so stuff like that. But it's like,
that's funny because
I really wanted to do this before.
Yeah,
it was even popular. It just the timing just wasn't right, and I'm honestly glad that we waited rather than like do it while he was in college.
Yeah, because it's also just like about branding, like all that stuff. Because like with CJ, like he started a podcast as well, like while we were in college and stuff. But once he moved in with us, it's like when he was like, all right, I really want to do this. I really want to get into it as well. And his podcast is called Park Car Talks. And like we were like, all right, so when you want to start this, like take your time. Like you got to brand yourself. You got to come up with like a logo or like what it's going to look like. You got to, you know, what are you going to talk about on there? Like have it all structured and stuff, because like you were saying earlier, it is oversaturated, but like if you believe in something that has sweat equity and you actually do it, and I'm like looking at your YouTube right now, like you have 20 something episodes out, and most people, you know, they barely do 5 and then they barely do 10. It's like if you do 20, you're in the 1% of the podcasters.
Exactly, bro.
You know? I was gonna say that was another part I was gonna bring up. Is like, yes, it's oversaturated, but at the same time, like just like anything else, everything plays out. Like everything fizzles out. People will start it, but then they'll like do 5 and like it's just too much work and be done with it, or like I just don't have the time to do another episode. Or people do a little bit more than 5. It's
or
like,
they're attached to the fucking results.
And
exactly. And the results might take a long time to come,
years.
I love hearing stories of like, you know, I've been doing this for 6 years, and all of a sudden in year 7 it blew up.
Yeah.
Or, I've been doing this for 8 years and you're 9 and fucking. I love hearing that shit because it's a reminder, bro. Like, you don't know. You just got to keep putting in the work. And it's like that saying, like I was listening to Denzel Washington the other day. I don't know why the fuck. But he was like, you hang around the barbershop long enough, like you're going to get a haircut. That's for better or for worse, you know? But it's like, no, that's a good perspective, bro. I'd never heard of it like that. But everything is oversaturated when you think about it. Like every industry, and it's like, it does fizzle out eventually. And only the people who are consistent and dedicated will survive 100%.
Because, I mean, majority of people, I would say 99% of people, it's very rare that you like gifted off rip. Some people are, but you're gonna be bad off rip. But as time goes on, you get better and better and better. And then just like with anything else, like there's so many photographers in the world, and like you have your like Peter McKinnons of the world, or was like one of the best, or Potato Joe's one of the best like videographers, photographers, but like they're the same thing. Like they joined in photography when it was oversaturated, but they kept with it and got better over time, and now they're one of the like most global names for photography. So it's like the more you do and the more you stick with it, you're gonna get better. And then people like consistency, and people like knowing they can count on you. So like you know Optics, so I'm sure you know Hex, but like Hex dropped a vlog 6 a.m. This was like in 2016, 2017, 6 a.m. every single day, and like I would look forward to watching those vlogs, and I knew I could count on those vlogs coming out
100%.
and like starting my day or like whatever the case is. And people like that because routine's a big thing in people's life.
Yeah.
So they know that they can go watch you and count on you because you know they're going to post.
Yeah.
And that's where we have ourselves at, because since the beginning of last year, we haven't missed a Friday upload. We've posted every single day, every single Friday. The only time that we don't post, I want to say, is probably Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, Thanksgiving or any like major holiday weekend, we probably won't post. But even the times where we prepped a lot of podcasts, like we went to Dallas earlier in the year and we shot like 8. And so we could, kind of have some time to kind of chill in the summer, work on some other things. But even then, it's like, all right, we don't have a podcast. We shot some other stuff. So we'll post like, a vlog or like a trivia or like just anything that's consumable on a Friday. So someone's like, oh, well, I didn't get a podcast, but I got like this 20-minute video that's completely different than what they normally post. So just trying to like find ways to evolve and stuff too. Cause I feel like a lot of people don't understand, like you're going to get burnt out yourself, especially like you're going to grind. You're going to be attached to the results maybe, or you're going to not see it working or whatever the case may be. But it's okay to like evolve, but also knowing when to not go like too far off the spectrum of what you're originally creating and stuff like that. Because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, well, let me just do this and this to try to like grow. But I feel like if you can like establish something like niche based, like Optic, for example, like he was talking about with Hex, like he started off as like doing gaming, doing montages, and then eventually became an owner of one of the biggest esports organizations in the world. But he also owns like part of Good Golf and Guggen Squad and then all these other brands. But he's able to do that, and his fans are able to buy that because they're like, I like Hex. Like it doesn't matter what he does because I've seen him grow this thing, and I just like the person. So whatever he does, I'm going to Pine Park as well, his weed company, like whatever he does, I'm going to like invest in and, buy or purchase. So I feel like that's a key thing too, just like to our listeners, like we want to start a podcast or anything like that, like find your niche and like lock in on that niche for however many years until it blows up. And then if you want to do something else, like dabble into it, but you got to be patient.
Yeah, you can't just give up quickly.
Yeah,
you can't expect quick results.
And that's the thing we said from day one is like slow grind. Like we know it's a slow grind. We know it's a long-term game. We know it's like not going to happen overnight or in a year or 2 years. Like it's going to be something that like takes time. And I would say we're rare people that like knew that, understood that. Cause like the amount of money that we put into this versus the return is pennies.
No doubt.
But like we're okay with that because we know that it takes a long time for this thing to go, but when it goes, it's going.
People would be shocked to find out how many like very famous podcasters and like these media entities or personalities like burned a lot of fucking cash before they started making hella profit. Like Pat McAfee talks about how much cash they were burning and that everyone called him stupid crazy. Joe Rogan, like he lost money for years doing it. Like all these entities, it's an undertaking to get like how you guys have built out your studio. You got the the production equipment. You got the mics, everything. Like people don't understand like the amount that go. It's not just like we pull. Oh yeah, we just pull up and start talking shit. You know? Like you gotta edit this shit. Yeah, exactly. You gotta cut it. It's like people doing this really do care. It's not like they just want to hear themselves talk. I mean, maybe in a sense, like I'm human, right? Like I want to.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I try to turn the ego off, but you want to hear yourself talk. Oh look at me. You know what I mean? I try to turn that off, but I think like three things there. Like one, respect to y'all for like not missing a Friday. That's fucking huge. Two, like I don't know. Have y'all heard of the concept like intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation? So essentially, extrinsic motivators would be things like external to yourself, like materials, money, status, fame, all this stuff. Intrinsic is like you do something because you're motivated by internal factors such as like you like it, it's cool to you, it intrigues you, it makes you happy, whatever, right? So a lot of people are big proponents of like finding intrinsic motivators and how like when you really like love the process and you're intrinsically motivated by it, you stay doing it longer and you actually do it better. So it kind of reminds me of what you guys are saying in terms of like you guys believe in this, you enjoy podcasting, you enjoy the conversation, you enjoy the networking, you enjoy meeting people. You're not just here trying to like make viral clips, just not having conversation.
Exactly.
And that's what really breeds success is when you're like locked into the process. Like I know y'all keep up with UFC at all?
I love UFC.
Yeah, he loves it, and I'm starting to get into it.
You're starting to get into it? Okay, like UFC has become like one of my favorite things. Like, and I know like a lot of people like, don't like Sean Strickland. I totally get why.
He's a character for sure.
He's a character. He says some crazy shit. But one of the things though that he did say that I like though is that he said, they're like, what, like how did you start doing MMA, this and that? And he was like talking about his tough upbringing. Like his dad would hit him and he like grew up in a really fucked up environment. And, like fighting for him was a way to conquer his mind and become a better person. And he was essentially saying that like he became UFC champion not because he wanted to become a champion, but because he wanted to fund his hobby. He fights because he funds his hobby, and his hobby is training. So he's obsessed with the process. He's obsessed with the process of training, fighting, getting better. And because of that, what happens is the organic rewards of he's really good, Yeah. He beat Izzy. I didn't think he was gonna do that, but I think that like for me, that's a lesson in like if I really fuck with this, if I really fuck with like, conversation, asking people questions, finding out what makes them tick, like what allowed them to persevere, and other people could learn from that, then the results will come eventually. If I put myself in position for it, like if I get the production equipment like you guys, which is like the goal, but that's something I try to keep in mind is like keep it intrinsic. Stop just like trying to rely on results, views, clicks, comments. And it's like that's tough, but it's necessary to detach my like self-worth, all this shit from like, these numbers. Because I'm never gonna win. It's a losing battle. There's always someone with more numbers, So, but definitely respect to y'all for like having that in mind from the beginning.
I appreciate it. And I mean, all that, and sometimes you need it, but all that stemmed from a conversation with one of our other business partners and a videographer. Basically, I worked somewhere out of state for a little bit. I was gone for 6 months. And then I came back, and like everything that we shot before I left wasn't getting edited or put out. And he was the one like editing, putting out. But it was all miscommunication. But after I came back, and then like we lived here for a year, and like it was still kind of the same thing. We just had a meeting. He was like, "Look, I'm gonna be with y'all and like do stuff with y'all, but like I can't do all this extra podcasting, come over in here, edit it, all this and that. Like y'all got to step up y'all's weight if y'all want to do it." He was like, "I want y'all to do it," but he does his own photography. But he was like, "I'm gonna do Toga with or without y'all." And then we just kind of have that same mindset, even though he's like our business partner in this with us. We're like, well, we got to do it with or without him. And ever since that conversation happened with him, and he was like, "If y'all don't edit it, it's not gonna get put out." We're like, okay. And that's kind of when we flipped our switch, and like we bought Max, we bought Logic Pro, we bought Final Cut, and we bought the cameras, the light, like everything else that needed to go with it. And that all just stemmed from a conversation. I'm like, not everybody can just do stuff for you. You got to do stuff yourself. And some people do need that. And that's what got us to where we're at now. And on both of our channels. Our main channel, we're at 777 still?
782.
782 now. And then we have another sports one that we just post just straight sports content at
496.
496.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
we started that one in July. I didn't really start posting until August.
Yeah.
So
and we're at the point now where it's like,
good.
Yeah.
Great,
if it's not us, nobody else is going to do it.
Yeah, no, skin in the game, bro. Like getting all this, like
Yeah.
putting your own money into it. It's like you're more inclined to do it. And it's like that low and slow. Like Cam, you was talking about how me and my homies, you know, like throwing down on the grill and shit.
Bro,
it's like,
yeah.
it's like that approach. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, that's big time for sure.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
Well, I was just curious, like, kind of like what like you were telling. We've talked like about health and fitness and wellness, and I've talked about. I asked you because you post like your stats, and what's that bracelet called again? It's called
Whoop,
yeah, and I was like, bro, that's fire. Like I was like, I need one of those because it like tracks your sleep, all that stuff. And lately I've gotten big into health and wellness and fitness just because. You know, like you mentioned earlier, I played sports in college, always been a very good athlete, always been athletic, but like, you know, kind of went through some like personal depression and development and things like that the last couple of years and like, you know, gained some extra weight and wanted to lose that. And then also too, like my mindset wasn't like being trained properly. So I did 75 hard this year and completed that. And from there, like in that challenge, like I don't really recommend it if you're doing stuff like this because it was like very stressful towards the end to be able to do that challenge and do this and work and like I'm in a relationship and balance all of that. And granted, thank God to her, like she did it with me too, so that was dope to have like an accountability person.
Crucial.
But from there, like I wanted to learn like how much has fitness and wellness and all that stuff. How much is that like transition into your personal life and just your overall development?
Yeah, 100%. It's like as a kid, right? Like I, believe it or not, I was actually very quiet, very introverted, not well spoken, and you know, like kind of going back to like some of the family stuff that I talked about. You know, like seeing certain family members go through certain things, whether it was like seeing like distant family members like go in and out of jail. You know what I mean? And like I'll give you like a quick story of this, right? So like I was a little kid. And, they obviously don't want to tell a little kid, like, one of the family members went to jail. Like, they went to school. We're going to go visit them. I'm, like, walking into this, like, building. And, like, you take your shoes off. You put them in a little thing. Like, if you're going through the airport, like a little box. You go through, put your hands out. Like, I'm a little kid. I'm, like, fucking maybe 10, 11, 12. Like, they're scanning you, like, all this stuff. And you go in and you see, that said family member, like, in a green jumpsuit and an orange jumpsuit, right? So, like, those memories kind of stick in my head, but I say all that to say, like, as a kid, I was acting bad because I had like certain traumas that I didn't know how to cope with, and I just wanted attention, so I'd be bad in school. Sports was finally that thing that really gave me confidence. Like, I don't need to act up. I don't need to do stupid shit for attention. I don't need to be mischievous because like I'm good at this and people will like me because of this. And I learned how to communicate. Like, hey, defender, you need to be here. Hey, John, slide left. Like, watch the back door, this and that. So, like, I learned a shitload about life on the field, on the court. And I gained confidence that carried with me to this day. So I kind of lost that as I got older, right? I thought, like, oh, when you get older, you got to, you get busy, you're just gonna get fat, whatever. Like, you drink the coffee in the morning and you fucking drink that, drink a beer at lunch, you gotta make business, whatever the fuck, right? Like, I just thought like part of life was losing yourself a little bit to make money. Yeah. And then I met dudes like CJ, like my old manager when I was at AT&T, and they're fucking shredded. And like my old manager was like, you can buy a Mercedes, you can buy some designer clothes, and he fucking pulled his shirt up. He had a six-pack. Like, you can't buy this shit. I built this shit. I was, that's real. Like, to get back to your question about like how health and wellness has played a factor into my life. So, growing older, I thought that was something you had to sacrifice for success. I thought like everyone's definition of success is like to become financially wealthy and maybe do something that you enjoy for work. Then I realized like it's pretty subjective. Like your definition of success could vary. And not everyone just has to be like rich, badass house, badass corporate job. Like, you can actually be an entrepreneur. You could be ripped. You could do something you love but not make as much money, or you could make a lot of money and do stuff you love outside of work. Like, it's very subjective. So for me, as a post college, it's been like getting back to, you know, yes, I work in this field of sports and entertainment currently, but, you know, and it's a field of like, you know, within the realm of athletes and athleticism, that doesn't mean that I'm not an athlete myself. Like that I cannot be athletic myself. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, not to talk shit on people, but a lot of people in the space, because it's like you're working 9 to 5, then you're working, you know, Tuesday night, the Austin FC game, Saturday, the Austin FC game, whatever, going all these events, you know, press box food. A lot of people are out of shape. And I made the decision that's like, that's not me.
Yeah.
I love being in shape. I love fucking competing. That's what made me who I am. I love to compete. I love to work out. Yeah, I like the effects of it.
Yeah,
like,
for
you
sure.
know, you look good, you feel good, but I love being in there and like getting into the bottom of my psyche and like, you know, figuring out what I'm made of.
Yeah.
And reminding myself like I'm that motherfucker too. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I love that. I love playing soccer. I love hooping. I love working out. I want to get more into jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. Like I love competing because I love who it makes me. And it reminds me of my roots. Like that's how I kind of like save myself from going down a path where I wouldn't have been my optimal self, you know? So that's kind of the effect it plays in my life now, and where it comes out in other ways is like not only working out, but what I eat. Like this Root Band, the Oura Ring, sleep. I used to say fuck sleep, you know, for a long time, which I do think at certain times you might have to sacrifice a little sleep, but it's like in the long run you can't sacrifice it too much. Yeah, because it's crucial. Yeah. So that's kind of the role it plays in my life. It's a big role, bro. I think I would love to like build out the podcast and like get some like, you know, sponsors that align, you know what I mean, in terms of like health and wellness, whether it's a Whoop, a Aura, or like, you know, some coffee that's healthy for you, or like some, you know, adaptogens, nootropics, all that shit. I think there's a big market for that. And like Austin, again, is like, you know, a place where a lot of it's being developed. So that's a long-winded answer to like, you know, it's a big factor in my life, bro. And it's part of my definition of success is being like holistically healthy, mind, body, spirit.
Have you had the super coffee?
I have, bro. It fucked me up bad recently, dude. Yeah.
Really? There's some. It made you use the restroom.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I had drank it multiple times, and it was great. Like, it's got the MCT oil.
It's fire.
Bro, I don't know what happened one morning, and like, it's probably been almost a year at this point. December or January, dude, it fucked me up bad. I had to leave work. I was like I thought I had like a fucking hernia or something. Like it felt like my stomach was in a twist, bro. Like wringing it out like a mop. Like I was just like, I was like hurled over. I was like, oh. I like went to my boss. I was like, bro, I think I gotta go home. She's like, you don't look good. I was like, yeah, I gotta.
I don't feel good.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, they're based out of Austin, right?
Yeah.
I would say because that's a healthy. Because I had it for the first time not too long ago. It's pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, and they have good flavors. Good. It's really good. We actually had a homie on, Jacob Aguilar. He was his intern for a little bit. Him and Devin Lacuse or Devin. He has that ranch, the Cedar Ranch or whatever in Cedar
very
Park.
Cool. Yeah.
So just and you know, I got into this year especially like because I train at the Collective down the road, and like they have the plunge, the original cold plunge there, and like the sauna and stuff like that, and just doing that, and along with working out, and then just getting older and like getting like, you know, immature from the brain perspective. It's like, bro, why am I eating so much fast food? Why am I eating so much like crap food when I can eat something that tastes just as good, if not better, and is cleaner and better for me? And it's also like more productive. I started to see myself become like sluggish and like, you know, lackadaisical from lack of sleep and just like what I'm feeling my body with. And it all just translates in the long run to like what we're trying to do with building Opinionated, or even like my corporate job and, you know, all that stuff. Cause it's like, if I don't have energy to do these things to the full capacity and like my brain isn't functioning at like a great rate, then like I'm realistically like hurting myself and hurting like everyone else's growth that I'm like affiliated with. So like, I definitely get that. Like, and it's just like a nice like mental clarity, like decompressor. Like I told my girl, like I'm like when I go to the gym, like I put my phone in D&D and like I try to just only listen to music or whatever, and like I'm not like trying to talk to anyone unless I'm doing group workouts or something like that. Sure. But like being on my phone or like in between sets, like I don't want to like, I try really hard to not like scroll on something. I try to just like be mental on the clock, like try to be like, okay, I got 90 seconds in between this set. Let me like not be on my phone. Let me just pace or do whatever and get to the next one. So now I definitely like that you're all into that. And I've seen the Oura Ring, like one of my homies had it. I didn't know that was what it was called. So definitely interested in that and the Whoop,
Hell yeah.
like all that stuff, just to be able to track it and actually see data. Because you can be like, oh, like, you know, I slept like 6 hours, but like that, like you posted your stats the other day and it was like you slept like 7 hours and 42 minutes.
No,
like to the T.
Your Apple Watch will do it too.
Really?
I think so, because my mom wears her Samsung watch, but it tells you everything. Like when you're like a light sleep, a deep sleep, when you got your best sleep, like how long you actually slept. Like it shows you everything. It's crazy.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's it can be good and bad because sometimes it'll tell you like, oh, you're fucked up. You need to recover. Like, you know, but like much. I feel good. So I mean, I think the balance is like, it's just information. It's like, it's another tool to inform you on how you're currently living.
Yeah.
And like give you more insight in terms of like, when you do this, you feel better. When you do this, you feel worse. You know, it's like, cause I've had it now since March of 2022. So almost 2 years now, so I can kind of see like the ups and downs of like, oh, when I sit down all day and I don't walk around, like, you know, my fucking heart rate variability goes down. And then like, oh, my shoulders feel fucked up when I like, you know, when my HRV's here and I've been sitting. So it's good info for sure, bro. I definitely love it, but I also got to remind myself not to like
look too much
get
into
addicted to it. Like, oh, I can't have that drink because I'm gonna fuck
that's the thing, like the balance, like that, because that's always how I've been too. Like, work super hard Monday through Friday, like always been like a worker, and then on the weekend, like enjoy yourself. If you want to watch football, do that. If you want a game, do that. If you want to go get a nice dinner, do that. All that stuff. Go have some drinks with some friends, 100%. Like, because everything is good in moderation, but just knowing when it's like, all right, I've been wild and like I've been on like a 3-week bender, like let me chill, you know. So definitely all that, bro. I definitely understand that for sure.
When you were talking, you kind of touched on a lot of stuff that I bring up. Because I feel like everybody should play some kind of sport in their life just because it teaches you so many things. And then the other thing is like people are like talk about like, oh, you gotta bust your ass, like you gotta lose sleep and whatnot. But like as you get older, I kind of feel like it's the opposite. Like, no, you need sleep. Like sleep is probably the most important thing in your life. You got to rest. Like, but it's okay with some days like, okay, I only got 6 hours or 5 hours this day. But the rest of the week, you get like 7, 8 hours. It's like, all right, that's good. That's the other thing is I've as I got older is sleep is like more important than like lack of sleep. Because when you are tired, you do lose focus on what you're doing. It might like you're full. Like, yes, you're invested into what you're doing. Like if I'm editing, but it's not like, it's completely different when I'm editing tired versus when I'm editing like I'm awake and my brain's actually working.
100%. Yeah, dude. No, it's funny because like I feel like I'm getting to the point where like I was probably my most ripped like weightlifting wise in 2018. So it's been 5 years. I had like a couple injuries in between and just life. Like I would, you know, I wasn't gonna go and like dedicate as much time to weightlifting. But it's funny. I feel like within the next 6 months I'll probably eclipse how I looked back then, and I'm working out way less. It's just I'm being smarter about how I work out. Like I know a lot more movements that'll get me there. And because I eat better and because I sleep better, I'm getting there a lot quicker. So it's just interesting to see how like you kind of allocate the puzzle, like in terms of like investment of time and what you put into your body and sleep. But sleep is crucial, bro. I used to really say like, oh, you sleep when you're dead, this and that. Bro, and I looked into the data. It's like, bro,
and then you just become so much less productive. Like you're up at like past midnight or 2 a.m. or whatever, and like there's deadlines and stuff, or you got to get something done, and like you either procrastinated or it just needs that extra time, then do that. But if you're just staying up just because you're like, oh, I gotta grind, I gotta work, whatever, it's like, bro, just go anything, just go to sleep and like get up early. And also think another thing too, like I feel like as cliche as it is, like getting up in the morning and like really focusing on what you're trying to do throughout the week. So it's like you get up in the morning, you start your day off at a good time. You're not like sleeping in, you're waking up, you're accomplishing something in the morning, either working out or eating a good breakfast or reading or anything like that. I feel like this is key because you're just accomplishing something that's not being done normally. Like, like that's the thing too. I used to be like, oh, well, I work from home. I can get up at like 7:50 and log on my computer at 8 a.m. and get that extra hours. I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna get up at like 6:30 and like wake up and like be chilling by the time I work, so I'm not like rolling out of bed. It's like wake up, oh, I gotta start working. Like, nah, this is not healthy. And it's just all kind of the approach to a lot of things is it's been different. So that's good to hear that, man, because I've been big on that and trying to like help educate not only my friends and stuff because it is tough. It is like intimidating going into like the health and fitness world and like really taking it serious because there's so much to learn. There's so much information out there. There's so much bad information out there too. Exactly. Like a lot of people that are like health experts will tell you something that's completely not true. Like, and they'll be like, oh, well, if you need to lose weight, like you can't eat anything. And it's like, no, you just gotta go in a calorie deficit. You might be able to eat that in your specific day for that calorie deficit, but it's like, if you eat this, you can't eat this in the day. So it's just stuff like that I feel like a lot of people don't know.
No, it's a lot of bad information out there too. And it's a lot of good information though that is applied to the wrong people too. You know what I mean? Like it's like there's so many ways to do it. It's not only one way, it's just like what is the best way for you? You know what I mean? Like someone was telling me this the other day, but it's like this dude's like, oh, meal prep, you got a meal prep. It's like some people don't fuck with that. You know, like they're not gonna It's gonna be a recipe for failure. Yeah. Because they're not gonna eat that fucking chicken and broccoli on the 4th day. Like, oh, this shit is disgusting.
Exactly.
You know? So it's like there's a lot of good advice, but it's like where does it apply to you? It's like that's why I think finding people that you jive with, that you want to emulate is pretty crucial because it's like like maybe y'all are similar, maybe similar body type, maybe similar mindset, whatever. You can kind of emulate their advice versus like trying to take all advice that's going to cancel out the fucking zero at the end of the day. Like you should be pescatarian, you should be vegetarian, you should be carnivore, this and that. You know what I mean? So, that's kind of my take on it. It's like I have some people I follow and
for sure.
Have
you always been into MMA or did you get into it recently?
Nah, I think I started getting into it in 2020.
2020. Yeah. Well, when I said getting into it, like watching UFC or Strikeforce 2020.
2020, I started watching me and my roommate Reyes. Shout out Reyes. That was really the only thing going on, bro. Was Fight Island. Is that what it was called? Back?
Yeah, Fight Island.
Fight Island. Yeah. Man, dude, fucking time flew, bro. It's almost 2024, re-election again. No, that's when I got into it, bro.
Because I've always been into it, but you said you wanted to start rolling. So you want to do regular jiu-jitsu or Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
So I've dabbled in BJJ before. That's really the only one I'm super privy to. But I like the ability to like kind of defend yourself. But above all, in addition to like the physical component, all those dudes are in pretty good shape. I love the mental philosophy around it. You know what I mean? It's something about getting choked out and like tapping, like humbles your ego, and it also like makes you realize like, damn, bro, I didn't die today. Like I didn't lose oxygen. Like whatever the fuck else is going on, it's gonna be okay. So that's the appeal.
I used to way back when, but it's fun. I mean, it's a different type of workout. It's a different.
Where'd you go?
This was a long time ago. It's called John's Gym. It was in Cedar Park. But there's a good place that I can recommend you. One of our close people we work with is called Black Widow MMA, and it's since you live right here, it's right down the street. It's on Metric, so it's not too far from here. And they're actually one of the coaches there. His name is Taz. He's like 8th in the world or something like that.
Oh, shit.
And he's a coach there.
Thank you.
And one of our homies actually started going there, and he got into training. We got to training a while ago, maybe like 2021.
Yeah, when he was
in Cali.
In Cali and San Diego, he was going down to Rosarito and Tijuana.
Training MMA there. Yeah, but he came back and he was trying to find a gym, but he went there. And now, do you know Gordon Ryan?
Yeah.
He lives here. I didn't know that until he told me.
A lot of fucking BJJ goats.
They all city. Like go to this one gym. Yeah. It's in Cedar Park right now, I think, but they're moving it. But
is it 10th Planet?
No, it's not. That's their own gym. Like they don't.
Gotcha.
But he had a competition, and he's a white belt, and he went up against a brown belt, and that is another coach at another school, and like. The guy struggled with my friend, and one of the coaches over there at that gym was like, "Who's this guy that I heard of?" And now he like goes on the weekends and trains at the gym with like Gordon Ryan and all them.
Oh, word!
Yeah,
your friend that's a white belt.
Yeah.
Damn, is he just like really talented at it? Or has he picked it up quick? Or?
I think both. He's a guy that's very has a very good work ethic, and like no matter what he does. And if he tells you he's going to do something, he's going to do it. And he's going to find a way to do it. And I think that's what it was. He just busted his ass and worked hard. And he pays attention to detail very well. So, and he, like, if you tell him to do something, whatever you told him, he's going to do it.
Yeah, that's crucial in BJJ. There's so many like intricacies on the ground.
Yeah,
like,
so it's been fun, but Black Widow MMA, check them out.
Yeah,
it's a great place. Bro. Very, very family oriented, I would say.
Word.
Yeah, a great group of people, and if you want to compete, that's what they do there too. They have people compete. If you just want to roll and just train, you can do that as well.
That's the part that's like intriguing to me about like MMA is the opportunity to compete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can compete hooping or playing soccer, but it's like, people try to fight and shit, and it's like not that serious. But like there, like in BJJ, it's like a more, you might have some of that, like trying to like testosterone flowing, but for the most part, it seems more like controlled environment.
Yeah,
mutual respect, like that tradition.
I mean, anywhere, any competitive scene that you're in, tempers are gonna flare here and there. Like it's just you're competing at the end of the day, so it's like you always want to make yourself seem better than the other person.
No doubt.
But I mean, I hope you do it. It's fun. It's fun.
You might have to do it.
Yeah, So it's a different type of workout. It's a different type of strength, a different type of strong. But it is nice mentally. The only reason I stopped doing it is because at the time, probably now since we do this, I'm still gonna do it because of money wise. But it's just expensive.
It is, bro.
It's expensive, but like it is your gym. Like you're paying because there is weights there, and like you are still getting a workout in, but you're also like getting coach from someone. So like that's the other thing is like if you do personal training, like it's gonna be the same price, but like that's your quote unquote personal trainer, but you still got like your cardio in, you still get your like weightlifting in.
No doubt. It's also a community, You roll with those guys. You get to know them. You talk. Your coach.
It's a brotherhood.
That community aspect feels good. That's something I enjoy about like Squatch, for example. They do their like group workouts. They do their men's workout every otother Friday, and I feel like that like you can work out anywhere, but having that sense of community is like really what sets it apart from like like another like commercial gym, so to speak. But yeah, man, no, 2020 is when I like got into it more. I'm a big fan now. Like watched Alex Pajeda this past weekend, dope fight against Jiri. That was great stylistic matchup.
That was crazy. It was intense.
Yeah,
it was intense.
That shit was. Who did you have going into it?
I had Alex just because Jiri was just off for so long. Okay. I thought the fight was stopped a little early.
Okay. You think Jiri was just being nice when he said he was out cold when they called it?
I think so because it didn't really look like he was. Like he got rocked and then he went straight into covering, and then as soon as like the ref like took him off, like he went to go grab the legs as into grapple, but then he realized it was a ref. So he was like, "Oh, the fight's done." Like he called it. So I think it was a little early. But
what a guy though if he like just wanted to be nice and lied about it, like, "Oh, I was out."
Because
they said he was trying to be a
this is
good
the thing. I mean, my guy was Conor McGregor. I'm still a fan of him. I'm still a fan of him, but like, I'm not a real a biased fan anymore. So like, I think he's done. I've thought he's done for a while. I don't think he should fight anymore. There's no reason. There's no reason for him to fight anymore. There really isn't. So I don't think he should. And but like, he's one of the few people where I'm like, I go against what I say, but like I don't like. Not that I don't like Izzy, and not that I don't think Izzy's good, but he talks too much, and then his last fights have just been boring or like not what they should be. And I thought he needed to lose. And it kind of annoys me that he beat Alex and now like is running away from Alex, even though Alex like not running away, but like doesn't want to fight him. He's like, I closed that chapter in my life, it's done and whatever. But I'm like, the dude beat you 3 times, bro. Like, you're not even gonna give him like the time of day to give him a rematch. Crazy
too, though.
It's like that's
to be fair. Like he won like fucking 14 out of 16 rounds against him or something. But he's been knocked out by him 3 times.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but I mean that's part of like fighting. But I just people like that, like people like Jiri, people like Alex, people like I love Islam. People like Islam, people like Charles, people who don't talk and carry themselves. I feel like
Charles,
those are like the real champions, and they're champions for a reason.
Volk.
Volk.
Yeah, I love
Like
Volk
they don't call people out. They don't know trash talk anybody.
I
like
do fuck with some
when
trash talk though.
Well, when it's like obviously when you're like going like into the fight or like competing like media day and all that, yeah, you're gonna trash talk. But like leading up to it, like they don't like go call people out and be like, oh, he sucks, I want to fight on all this and that. But like at the end of the fight, they're like, hey, it was a good fight, whatever. It's all respect.
Yeah.
And the people who stay quiet are just, in my opinion, the ones who typically hold the belt the longest.
Yeah.
And so that's.
Nah, I mean, so I didn't follow UFC as heavily before 2020, but who I did follow heavily was Conor McGregor, and because his like ascent from plumber, you know, doing something he hated, you know, not making any money, being broke, to becoming the most famous UFC fighter ever, and like eclipsing the UFC and taking it to like new heights. I love that underdog story.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'd watch a lot of his videos, you know, like Doubt Me Now, like his movie from back in the day. Like that was an inspiring story in terms of like, you know, you believe you could do something and you manifest it, and you don't only say it, but you put in the work every day to one day get there. And it's kind of like you guys with this, right? And me with my endeavors with the podcast and stuff. It's like you believe you have that capability, that potential, and you put in the work to get there. So that's why I always fucked with McGregor. I know he's not like the perfect role model example in a lot, especially in the past 2 years. But you know, if you take certain elements of that, you know, McGregor mentality, there's a lot of good you can take from it for sure. I do think certain fighters have like that crazy fucking ability to like inspire, like a Mike Tyson. Like if you listen to Mike talk about like the art of war and like the ego, like it's great shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that he almost quit when he was back in Ireland when he was fighting, training. Obviously, the UFC's the mecca of fighting. And he wanted to fight in the UFC, but they just wouldn't give him a call. In 1 week, he just stopped showing up because he didn't get the call from UFC. He was like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I don't want to be here, and I'm done with fighting. And then John kept calling him, like, trying to get him to come back. And then in the middle of it, UFC called John and was like, hey. And then he called Conor, and Conor went back to training.
Now John Kavanaugh's a fucking GOAT coach too.
Yeah, he's great.
That reminds me though of like one of my favorite sayings too of life is like there's a thin line between failure and success. There's a thin line between genius and madness, right? But like you think of like Alvin Kamara, for example. He was at JUCO. He took, I think it was like 2 Wintermaster classes. He almost failed that shit. He had to pass to maintain his eligibility to be able to play. And from there, he transfers to Tennessee, balls the fuck out, goes to New Orleans Saints, becomes one of the best running backs in recent memory. It's like that dude was so close to not getting through the crack of JUCO. Cam Newton, right here in Texas, Blinn College, JUCO, balled out, won the JUCO national title. Where was it? Auburn after that?
Yeah, he went to Auburn.
Auburn, balls out, wins
Won a
title,
natty
goes
there.
to NFL, wins MVP. It's like, it's these fucking moments, man, where, man, people come so close to failing. Like, it's that thin line, bro. Or like myself, like in, you know, community college, almost not making it to UT, or like, you know, all these moments where it could have gone or should have gone wrong, but you push through. That's what I always try to remind myself of. Or like, have you ever read like Shoe Dog by Phil Knight?
Yeah.
Yeah, great fucking book. Every day, like all the times that shit almost went wrong. Like we're $50,000 short. Like where are we gonna get? Like, you know, we're getting sued. How are we gonna survive it? Like it's like everything can and will go wrong. And how do you maintain your belief in your dream to persevere? So I love those stories though, of like that thin line, and you fucking push through.
Yeah, and I mean that's part of life, man. Life's a roller coaster. It's meant for you to have the lowest of lows and the highest of highs. It's just how you respond to them is who makes you who you are.
Hell yeah. That's the key.
And that's pretty much it for me. I don't know if you have anything else. I mean, this was dope. It was a pleasure meeting you. I mean, you've talked to him when you talked to me, but just I always like to, when people first come in, I always like to listen to y'all's conversations.
Okay.
Just because I listen and like, sometimes I get questions, but y'all have like known each other longer, so to say, than like we've known each other. So I just let y'all talk and do y'all's thing, and then see what kind of vibe we're on, and then just go from there. Mm-hmm. But it was a pleasure meeting you. I mean, it was a dope conversation. I mean, you have your own podcast. If you ever need a guest or one guest, I mean, I'm available. He's available. We're both available. Yeah. And we're always available to jump on yours, and hopefully this isn't the last time you're on ours, because I mean, I genuinely love our conversation. So appreciate you for coming on. Yeah, the combo was amazing. Super excited just to connect with you outside of this. You know, have a lot of similar interests, are working out, you know, you go to a lot of good food spots too. Like I'm into all that type of stuff. So definitely like if you ever need people to hang out with or do something with, like, I mean, you're a Cowboy fan and a Longhorn fan. You know? I'm a Cowboy fan and a Longhorn fan.
Watch sports. We'll definitely set it up. I mean, we're right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Down the street, no, it's a pleasure to get connected with you boys and talk on a deeper level with you guys, and really respect what y'all are building here. This is fucking sick. I know it'll continue to grow over the course of time, and happy to have been a part of it today and keep that relationship going in the future. Man, I feel like I was gonna say one other thing. Oh yeah. No, definitely we'll stay in touch about, you know, my podcast and stuff, and however I can help you guys out. Like, please, let me know. You know, rising tides lift all boats, and now we'll both do big things together, and y'all keep influencing the culture here in Austin for sure. Man, that's the plan. But likewise too, if you need anything, let us know. Any gear to get, or if you just need any ideas or whatever the case is. Any guests that you want to have on, just let us know, and we'll help out as best as we can. Likewise. Yep. Hell yeah. They can find you everywhere at Real Smart Alec on Instagram. If you just Google Smart Alec Show, YouTube should pop up. Available on all audio platforms: Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, anything, you name it. The Smart Alec Show, we've been on a little bit of a hiatus, figuring some life stuff out and some stuff with the show, but definitely gonna come back with a bang, with some fury. Definitely gonna start posting more short form content on all social media platforms, as well as continuing the long form conversations on all audio platforms and YouTube. I've seen you guys also do video on Spotify as well, so that's ever since they changed it, they changed it because Spotify bought Anchor. Ever since they bought Anchor, because we used to load up our audio to Spotify to Anchor to branch it out everywhere, but now it's Spotify, Anchor, and it's a video now, so it's dope. Yeah, no, it's dope. We'll definitely connect more offline about all the logistical components, back-end components, but also you can follow me on LinkedIn too. I post a lot of just career content, like, you know, like self-development type content on there, relevant to like marketing, sales, like leadership, and the sports space. But pleasure to connect you guys. Yes, sir. We'll have all of his stuff down below. Make sure y'all go give him a like, give him a follow, go check him out on his shows. But that'll do it from your boys over here at Opinionated. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.